Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 12020 South Bremen Avenue here in Portland. We're located, still trying to figure out how best to orient here. By and large, I'm going to be oriented as if you're facing the front door, basically from the driveway area. So the lines, it looks like it's essentially exiting out the back. The house is kind of a difficult shape to get oriented off of, but essentially at the back right corner of the house, line is exiting out the rear, but near that corner, you got a 4-inch ABS clean out. We've advanced all the way out here to the terminus at 39 feet. So I'm going to be doing this one in reverse here. Right as I was about to reel back in, the sprinkler system turned on right next to my camera. I had to duck everything under umbrellas, and unfortunately, a bunch of water got in on my tablet screen and glitched the tablet out. So unfortunately, that first run out, that video is not saved. But anyway, we're going to check everything out as we come back in. The advance out is all that. That's all that is. We're just running the camera out. So where we're located right now, I'm going to describe this a little bit differently. It's easier to visualize. If you're standing out on South Bremen, big main road out here, just facing this property in general, to the right of this, immediately to the right, is another property. The big long driveway. And at the end of their driveway, they have a covered parking area. I just went and located, and where we hit that connection there is under that covered parking area. You'll see a bunch of white paint markings over there. Those markings aren't mine, but the locate I got did line up with it, with what I'm seeing there. And then from that point, you can see that someone's come out here, and it's either scoped this line or someone else's line, because they've run their paint markings all the way out to the main road. So just from the looks of it, it could be a city main that we're connecting to there. It could also be some kind of shared or party line. That's what I'm unsure of. So I would get a hold of the city and see if they can shed any light on, just to make sure it's not some kind of non-conforming configuration. That's the big thing. So as you can see here, we're coming back into a spot with some standing water. The belly here dissipates off right around 33 feet. Sorry, I went right past that originally. I forgot to notate that. And thus far, the standing water is very, very minor. I mean, that's all of, it's not even quite a quarter of an inch. The water line's not even touching the bottom of my camera lens. So, and the only debris I'm seeing is a couple scraps of toilet paper. And so this house is obviously much newer than this line is, much of it is anyway. There used to be an old property here they tied this house onto. So a little bit of the beginning is cast iron, then it goes to concrete for the majority of it. And then we also have some ABS plastic. And a little tiny offset right here. It's barely offset at all. In the flow line, I mean, my camera, that hits about the base of my camera lens. So I mean, you're maybe a 1/4 inch offset. You can see there's zero buildup here. I wouldn't expect to see any on an offset that big, and the standing water, again, going back to that, very, very minor stuff too. Almost no debris buildup, and certainly no blockage evidence or thick buildup like the line's struggling to drain. It's not like you couldn't get something to hang up there, but it's going to take a bit of doing on the homeowner's side to accomplish that. By that, I mean abusing the line, either flushing improper stuff down the pipe, paper towels, things of that nature. Or gigantic balls of toilet paper, none of which should go down your line. But it's still a minor enough belly that the occasional abusive item, as long as there's not too many going down line, shouldn't have much trouble getting through there, or shouldn't be causing the line to all of a sudden stop working. There's just not enough standing water to accomplish that. So anyway, the belly, in my opinion, is too minor to need repairs. Especially when there's not even enough buildup, not even close to enough stuff in there to even justify a few dollars in drain cleaning. So the big thing here is checking with the city and find out if the way that this is configured is up to snuff. If there's any issues with that. And it is an older line, obviously. It's one that I would keep an eye on. And I would also, knowing that, find out from the city. Sometimes you get these situations where you get shared lines, and because of the amount of houses tied into them and or the awkwardness of certain homes being able to run their own sewer lines out to a street, some of these homes in these areas, there's not a sewer asset close enough that they can run their own line to, so they have to do configurations like this. And at least that's how it used to be at one point in time. Now that you fast forward into the future, sometimes some of these homes now do have main laterals within feasibility to reach to, and the city will allow them to keep the configuration up until the line requires repair work and or replacement, and then they want you to convert over to and reroute and run your own sewer line out to a main. So it's worth looking into it from that extent too, to make sure you understand that if you ever have to do updates on this, it's an older sewer line, it's something that will have to happen at some point in time. You want to just know what you're looking into, whether you're going to have to run a whole new line out to Bremen, for instance, or can redo what you currently have here in this current configuration, which right now is only a 39-foot sewer line, pretty short sewer. But if you were to have to run a whole new line out to Bremen, you're probably talking more like 120 feet, probably somewhere in that ballpark. As the line currently sits, we have good flow to the connection there at 39 feet. Not perfect. Obviously, you've got a little bit of hindrance with, you've got maybe a 1/16 to a 1/4 inch of standing water, but not enough that I would call it poor flow at all, especially when you consider all that's in the line is about 2 little scraps of toilet paper. It's conveying sewage adequately all the way to that point. But I would rescope periodically. I would probably do that every 2 years. It's an older line, and at some point in time they need updating. And if you can keep this configuration, the standing water right now is minor enough. You could probably get away with epoxy lining it without issue. But like anything, nothing lasts for forever, and eventually the line gets older. Sometimes they wear out in a way that it causes the line to slowly start settling. So it's worth keeping an eye on it from that standpoint, so you can take advantage of different types of repair processes when it gets to that point in time where the line's ready for update. As we sit here today, line is functioning at this time.